I don't know where it is.
Oh,
Oh, well.
we're here,
Well.
ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Privacy Please. Cameron Ivy here with Gabe Gums. It is, what is it today? It's a Thursday. I forget where I'm at. This is it's been a crazy week. But we're here. We're living. We're breathing.
Yeah.
The weather is actually really nice here in Florida. Sorry for you guys up north or out west. I don't know.
They may enjoy it. Who knows?
That's true.
They might.
I complain about being freezing cold when my house is 65
I
without the
understand
air
these
on.
problems. I understand these problems. I
They're going to
understand them.
continue to be a problem for me because I'm just a Floridian. But
I
that's besides the
understand.
fact.
I understand.
How are you doing, Gabe?
I am well, sir. I am well. It's always good to get on air and kick it through some privacy and security.
Yeah, we got some pretty cool things that are in the mix. We're gonna have some live shows in
Got one coming up next month.
Yeah, mid-April.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a lot coming up, but
coming up. We're working on some exciting video stuff. We'll see how that comes along for the team. Yeah. We've got some new podcast recording space we're trying to try out. Also, we got all kinds of things in the works. We're hoping to continue to take your feedback on the show and make it better. So all of that is coming.
It's exciting.
Well, I love it.
At that point, there's always something going on in privacy. Always changes happening. We were looking about. Me and Gabe were talking about this Glassdoor thing that recently came out. Basically, the article states that users ditch Glassdoor, stunned by site adding real names without consent. It's a very confusing headline, in my opinion. What was your first take on this, Gabe? Like, what?
My first impression was, oh shit! All of those people that were relying on anonymity to be transparent about their feedback.
Employees.
Employees might find themselves a little anxious with this news. And again, I string the sentence of words together very intentionally also, right? Like those users were relying. They had an expectation that they were going to be anonymous. Right. The fact that expectation changes, I think, is the first thing that jumps out to me here is, it's the old Star Wars line. Like I've altered the arrangement, right? Like pray I do not alter, right? Like just pray I do not alter it further. I probably botched the quote just a little bit there, but these sites, technology, as a lot of it exists today, unfortunately, there's been a loss of ownership of technology. Right. A lot of loss of ownership. Like almost everything's up for rent, and I know everyone feels that way now, right? Like every platform's a subscription. Everything's a damn subscription. You name it is a subscription.
Everything.
And so what that also means is with that loss of ownership has equally come some loss of control. With that loss of control equally comes things like they can alter the arrangement anytime they want. And they altered the arrangement. You used to be anonymous. Now you're not. There was never anything in the platform that suggested you would be anonymous other than their word. What do I mean by that? Like there's some VPN services, like they go through lengths to tell you what they do to keep your data anonymous. We don't collect these logs. We don't keep these logs. We purge these things. When you go to any message board, any site at all, and it purports to tell you that you are in any way anonymous, and it doesn't tell you how it is doing so, all it's probably doing is just keeping your information private, not anonymous, right? Like the system itself isn't anonymous. They are choosing to keep your information private. I'm not ready to overreact and say this is a bad move by Glassdoor. Because I'm just not certain about that. And I think this is one of those things that requires an open conversation amongst society, right? Like there should be some mechanism for being able to express how you feel about an organization, right? Like giving that feedback on it. But there's also a need to balance that against those that would hide behind the shield of privacy to, make claims against an organization. And they do not have to be ridiculous ones. They don't have to be ones that rise to the level of slander, but even just ones that rise to the level of an unfair representation of the facts. The
Right.
problem with unfair representation of the facts as it pertains to this topic is like everyone just sees things differently. People have a different point of view. I'm certain that there are some employees and employees who've parted ways, maybe even on amicable terms, and saw the part differently. They saw the
Right.
parting of ways differently, and there's those that parted ways not so amicably, and again, they saw the parting differently. The biggest challenge I have with this is, man, reversing policy and anonymity is just, it's naughty. It's hard to forgive,
I
right?
think
Like let's assume Glassdoor reverses their policy. Should you ever trust them? I don't know.
I mean, in all honesty, did you ever trust them in the first place?
No, but you see, you and I operate under different, call them threat profiles, right? Like we look at those types of things differently, just as a byproduct of what we do.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's almost a feeling of like, obviously, if you go down to the human level of everything, they should probably change their name from Glassdoor to Exposed.
yeah.
And because we're talking about human beings that are now feeling 100% vulnerable when trying to use something like this. So that's probably concerning. Like
Lots of
to
concerns.
your point.
Worry about retaliation concerns, people not
Right.
wanting to hire you because you left a shitty review somewhere else. All kinds of concerns. I don't love. Here's what I don't love. This immediately impacts employees more than the employers, in my opinion, and I don't
Agreed.
love that. The power imbalance is not good. It's not good. Not good there at all. And so I think the number one takeaway for those that are tuning into a privacy and security show is that the internet is not a private place by design.
Nope.
And the places where you can find privacy, you should validate that.
I think if you turn to like the consumer side of things, obviously the consumers want to go to Glassdoor to make informed decisions about certain employers that they might be looking into. And now that they're going to be using real names to user profiles, it risks that they're less inclined to leave honest reviews or even reviews at all.
That's right. So who does that further hurt? Does that further hurt the employers or the employees?
Glassdoor.
Because sure, but Glassdoor is just the middleman in this, right? Like they're, like, as far as I'm concerned, they're just collecting checks on
right. That's a good point.
Yeah, like maybe the real answer is the real answer. Maybe there is a answer where, just like companies have job recruiting boards on their site, they have reviews posted on their site.
Right.
But that too has to be transparently managed. And now you can remove Glassdoor from the mix. It's like everyone puts up a Glassdoor like app on their own company website and let employees do their thing, or let them do it from the inside and then you expose it out, right? Like you as an employer can take better control over that privacy as well too. You and I worked at an organization that leveraged a bit of technology that would query its employees, right? Like, and it would ask them, right? Like, questions, feedback for management, ostensibly, right? Like, and that was anonymized, and that allowed management to be able to understand really kind of how employees genuinely felt. I think you could take that a step further and expose that externally, remove the Glassdoors of the world from this equation. But that's part of the problem too, is like as an employer, you have no control over the fact that Glassdoor exists and those posts are even out there. It's like the Yelp problem for a restaurant. It's exactly the same point.
Yeah.
Exactly the same problem.
That's what's so funny about that is like you have Yelp and then you have Google. And if you've ever noticed, Yelp usually has the worst reviews for someone, and then the reviews on Google are probably better.
Yeah, I don't know what the correlation or causation there is, but I've seen it. I've definitely witnessed the same.
Yeah. Either I don't know if Yelp people are just meaner, if it's like a Reddit thing. They just get more harsh.
They get salty.
I mean, the privacy implications of this are concerning too when we're talking about
all kinds of privacy implications.
Yeah, consent especially.
consent. There's
There's
some deletion problems. There's been there. So the only way to remove that connection between your name and that profile and that post is by deleting your account. But it sounds like that process isn't working 100% as expected by everyone. And so deleting accounts didn't guarantee removal of personal data. The
right.
process itself was a bit unclear. Um, Glassdoor is defending themselves against this, and they're claiming to prioritize user privacy, but yeah, they're facing some natural criticism. I don't actually. I'm just. I'm finding it hard again yet to fully criticize Glassdoor, and
Yeah.
the reason why I'm doing that is because I really want to put a little bit more responsibility back on us and say, like, when a site tells you something is anonymous, don't just trust it.
Right.
Why is it because you and I both know that it was never actually anonymous under the hood. They were always one data breach away from being non-anonymous. That was always the case. You
Yeah.
signed up with account, email address. You were always one data breach away from not being anonymous anyway. So why did you think that putting that in the pool meant that you could ever remove it from the pool?
Oh, that's such a good point. Thank you for saying that. Because you know what it reminded me of? Food labels and branding for, like, let's just take cereal for instance. You're going to like anything out there that says you're going to see on the label, they're going to try to paint a picture that this is healthy.
Yes.
They're going to use words that make you feel more comfortable.
Yes.
And for the people that
And
don't pay attention,
packaging and colors and all of
yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
But
Imagery.
you look at the back and then you look at the first ingredients and it's like sugar.
Yeah. There's like, I won't call them by name, but there's like that fruit smoothie on the market where like they go out of their way to make this thing look stupid healthy.
Right.
And it's got way more sugar than like 2 cans of soda.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's all natural. I'm like,
It's not natural. It's organic.
it's organic, 90 grams of sugar.
Doesn't matter.
It's like saying these bullets are 100% organic bullets. Like, whoa, I'm not certain I want them hitting me at 200 miles an hour.
That's the power of good marketing and good, just good branding, is tricking your mind.
That's the power of relinquishing our responsibility and accountability. I'm not saying I don't want to take away the truth in your statement because it is deceptive practices at best.
Right.
But I don't think what Glassdoor did here was deceptive. I'm certain that their language always stated they could change their game. I'm certain the language always said we can take our ball and do whatever we want with it anytime we want.
Right.
Yeah,
it's concerning.
I feel it compelled to put the onus back on the community, and the community do two things: A, put pressure on people like Glassdoor to make these things not
don't use it anymore.
Yeah, and then B, be super more mindful, man. Let this be an example of why your privacy requires validation and verification, and not just simply trust.
Yeah. Let me flip the switch and ask you this, Gabe. Because of the integration with Fishbowl, do you think that also can bring in some data privacy or data security issues or concerns?
Almost guaranteed is the answer, and I think part of the reason for that is, again, goes back to the data itself was always under the hood, and so there was always the possibility and likelihood that Glassdoor as a company could join that data together and further, learn more about an organization. If I'm not mistaken, because we saw this play out with a bunch of other data brokers, right?
Yeah.
We saw this play out with the federal government buying data from data brokers. We saw this playing out with data brokers going bankrupt and getting assumed by other ones. When things like acquisitions happen, it appears that there's still some less than clarity, if not outright freaking fog of war, on how you consented to originally use your data and how that consent has changed now that organization has sold itself to another entity or was bought out by another entity, right? Like it's not clear, but when that entity is no longer the same entity and you gave permission to entity A, but now entity A was purchased by entity B, your consent seems to be in the breeze a bit. The Europeans seem to be dealing with this a little bit better than us. But again, we don't even have a federal version of CCPA or any of those things, or GDPR, right? We don't even have a federal version of those. So
Right.
well behind we are.
Well, do you think that this is going to be something that'll actually get some more attention because of something like this happening, or do you think it's just going to probably get overlooked?
I'm normally fairly cynical and be like, this will blow over. I don't think this one's gonna blow over, man. Just don't think this one's gonna blow over. I think people are going to, in droves, run away from ever leaving a review on Glassdoor, which I think also has the inverse problem for companies, which is people will be afraid to leave good reviews as well.
Yeah, which is going to hurt everyone. So
yeah, everyone
it'll
gets.
be interesting
over.
to see what happens.
I will make another blanket statement though. Everyone should have always been taking all of these reviews with a grain of salt in the first place.
Yeah.
There's no context behind them. It's not like a food review where it's like, okay, my food came out cold, or my food came out 20 minutes late. Like it could have just been a busy night. It could have, again, context is missing from that. But with a lot of reviews, there's a lot of context missing. Management was bad, made all the wrong decisions.
Right.
Look, as someone who's existed on different rungs of the ladder, I understand that sometimes things that just look like bad decisions up top, they probably are real bad decisions, but they're not always made out of poor thinking. That's not to say that they're not made out of, just to say that, like, without context,
that's a good point.
Criticizing really difficult decisions by people that probably have a little bit more access to information is sometimes out of context. Now, sometimes you'll get those folks that go, yeah, but that same management team never sought more information from those. Well, again, that's all context. But a lot of these reviews lack all of these things. And so context be damned. I think
matter.
Everyone should have taken all of these reviews with a grain of salt to begin with. You never should have put that much weight in any of them. Good reviews or bad reviews, you should have put little weight on all of them because there's no context. And they were anonymous.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? You don't know if someone paid them to say that. You don't know.
They were anonymous and no context.
Just like movie reviews. Some of my favorite movies have one of the worst reviews, but I still love them. So see for yourself. It could be something that where you can't just take their word for it sometimes in a sense. So like, at the same time, you don't really need Glassdoor. Let's just put it that way.
I'm just going to throw random solutions out there again, right? Because why not? If you had the ability to validate some of the concerns you may or may not have with an organization through your own network, that would be a lot more powerful. And I'm talking explicitly about, like, if you had more of a LinkedIn style Glassdoor system where it's like, go ask these 10 people in your network, right? Their third degree connections, second, fourth, fifth degree connections, like validate those things through your network. Like, I don't know who accountant 4 is that worked there 5 years ago as a part-time employee. I don't know who the fuck that is, and why am I trusting any of the words they say? For all I know, they could be the most trustworthy human being on the planet. I do not know that. They could also be so low they've got to jump to crawl below a snake. I don't know. I don't know where they're at.
So what you're saying, Gabe, is don't slide in the DMs. Go meet her in person.
I'm saying, don't at me about it. Do not at me about it. So, caveat emptor, buyer beware. All of the things come into play here. I think this is one for us in particular. I think we should open this one up to wide conversation to the world, right? Like, I don't think I'm equipped to give an informed opinion that I would want anyone else to take forward with them. I only have, as I typically do, just the way I see it on the surface there. But number one, don't trust SaaS platforms just blindly because they say that they're anonymous. So shame on you. Number two, be mindful of what you consume from these platforms that claim to be anonymous, because anonymity also breeds all kinds of other misinformation. And number three, take the control back, right? Like, Take that control back from this third party who's I don't know how they're incentivized to put this information out there, but they obviously are incentivized to do so. But you're incentivized to go find out for yourself. So do that. Do that.
Great points.
Yeah.
And with that, hope you guys enjoyed. If you got questions, comments, shoot them our way. We will see y'all next week. Take care.